Part 8. The Aftermath. In the desolate aftermath of the rebellion, the world state's machinery hummed back to life, its gears clicking into place with calculated precision. The streets, once filled with the fervent cries of freedom, were now empty and still, as if the very memory of dissent had been erased. The silence was oppressive, a heavy blanket that suffocated the city, choking the last vestiges of hope from the air. As the days passed, the authorities worked tirelessly to restore order, their efforts a testament to the world state's unwavering commitment to stability and control. The media, that most potent of tools, was once again deployed to shape public opinion, to distract and to deceive. The rebellion, it was said, had been a minor aberration, a fleeting moment of madness in an otherwise perfectly functioning society. The people, reassured by the familiar rhythms of their daily lives, began to forget the brief, shining moment of defiance, their minds clouded by the comforting haze of Soma and entertainment. But for John, the consequences of his actions were all too real. The young savage, who had once known only the simplicity and beauty of life on the reservation, was now forced to confront the harsh realities of the world state's wrath. His rebellion, his attempt to awaken the sleeping masses, had failed. The cost of his failure was high, the weight of his responsibility crushing. He was left to ponder the ruins of his dreams, the shattered remnants of a vision that had once seemed so pure, so untainted by the cynicism and corruption of the world.
In the cold, sterile confines of his cell, John was left to reflect on the true nature of the society he had sought to change. A society that valued stability and conformity above all else, that prized the smooth functioning of its machinery above the messy, unpredictable business of human emotions. A society that had sacrificed its very soul in the pursuit of efficiency and control, that had traded the beauty and complexity of human experience for the dull, gray comfort of a perfectly ordered world.
As he sat in the darkness, surrounded by the faint hum of the cell's life support systems, John couldn't help but wonder if he had been foolish to think that things could be different. Had he been naive to believe that the people, given the chance, would choose freedom over the comfortable shackles of their conditioning? The world state, it seemed, had been right all along. Humanity, left to its own devices, was a messy, imperfect thing. It was better, safer to let the experts guide and direct, to let the machinery of the state grind on, unimpeded by the whims and fancies of individual desire.
And yet, even as he faced the bleakness of his own defeat, John couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more, something that lay beyond the narrow horizons of the world state's all-encompassing control. A spark of defiance, a flame of resistance that burned deep within him, refusing to be extinguished. It was a spark that had been fanned into life by his reading of the old books, by the words of Shakespeare and the other giants of literature, who had spoken of a world that was raw and beautiful and imperfect. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, John's thoughts turned increasingly to the nature of humanity, to the question of what it meant to be alive. In a world that prized efficiency and control above all else, what space was left for the messy, imperfect business of human emotions? What room was there for love, for passion, for the simple, unadulterated joy of being alive? The world state, it seemed, had no answer to these questions, or rather, its answer was a resounding none. Humanity, in its view, was a thing to be managed, to be controlled, to be reduced to a set of predictable, programmable responses.
But John knew that this was a lie. He knew that humanity was more than just a collection of conditioned responses, more than just a set of predictable, programmed reactions. He knew that it was a complex, messy, beautiful thing, full of contradictions and paradoxes, full of light and darkness, full of hope and despair. And it was this knowledge, this understanding, that gave him the strength to carry on, even in the face of overwhelming defeat.
For in the end, it was not the world state's machinery that would ultimately prevail, but the human spirit, that spark of defiance and resistance that burned deep within the heart of every individual. It was a spark that could be fanned into a flame that could illuminate even the darkest of worlds, a flame that could guide humanity towards a brighter, more uncertain future. And it was this flame, this spark of hope, that John clung to even as the darkness closed in around him, a beacon of light in a world that had forgotten the beauty and complexity of human experience.